Monday is here, and I'm spying on the vacuum. It's been a busy morning, and hopefully the afternoon will slow down a little bit. Hey everybody, and welcome to Monday. It is Monday, another week has just begun, and yeah, it's been a busy, swamped day for me already. I am experiencing a little bit of growth amongst the people that work with me, and so I've been coping with that today because I had a lot that had to be caught up on that I had not done yet. And so I've been in meetings after meetings after meetings. Also, my hair's a mess now because I've played with it all day, but it's brown again. And it's like a real brown. It's not camo colored brown. Ugh, I really made a big mistake on that one, didn't I? Oh well, it's corrected now and it looks pretty good. I did a pretty good job on that, picking out the color and getting it all corrected out. So yeah, that's Monday. Monday's here. Work must be done, and I didn't want to get it done, but it's going to be done. Also trying to make an appointment with my dentist, so I may end up going to the dentist this week. Yay for that. So not sure what'll happen then, there, and the other, but I'm sure a lot of you've probably noticed I have a chipped tooth, and I hide it, or try to. There's something on the camera again, but I try to hide it quite frequently because I don't like it. Nobody likes a chipped tooth, right? But I chipped it a little while back eating popcorn. I was eating popcorn and I got a kernel, not a hull, but an actual kernel. I bit down on it and it chipped it. And the last time I was in there, he was like, oh, we'll get it fixed. And then we never made the appointment. So I'm going to go ahead and verify an appointment for hopefully this week because Disney's coming up. I don't want to get down there and A, have it in my pictures and video, and B, I don't want it to hurt. It hasn't hurt really at all. It did a little when it first happened, but it hasn't hurt since. And so instead of me getting, because I know my luck, I know how it works for me, if I got down there with it, it would more than likely end up hurting the entire time, and I would be miserable, and I'd be unhappy. So, I've made an appointment, so we may get to go to the dentist this week. Who knows? So, I'm going to go ahead and get back to work, and let's get Monday started. As I'd mentioned before, Mondays I want to do pin mail Mondays, but unfortunately I don't have any pin mail, or I have not ordered any yet to unbox for you guys. So, I thought I would share with you one of my favorite sets that I have. This is the Hidden Mickey Orange Bird set that I am very happy to have. So I'll explain to it real quickly. Let me pause for a moment. I'll remove some things. So this is the original set. The two that I pulled out that are sitting over here on the side, those are the side pieces. These are the original ones. There were the 5 in the original set. You had the lounging bird, the happy one, the kissy, the flying, and the upset or angry one. And then you have the chaser, which is just like this one here. And if you're new to pins, that just means it is, as you can tell, not colored. And it also is of the silver variety. This is just what they call the chaser pin. So that would have been the whole set that you were more than likely going to be able to get. In most cases, there are a lot of the regular ones. There are fewer of the chasers because they're more complicated. That's why they're called chasers. You're chasing after it. Then this particular set also included a completer pin. Completer pins are extremely hard to get usually. And in this particular case, I went all around the world to get this particular completer pin to finish this set. I bought this one online from a dealer, and it is, if it'll zoom in, you can actually see it. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it actually says Hidden Mickey Pin, Completer Pin. And this particular pin was a dickens to get a hold of, but I did manage to get it. Also, this set was really difficult to complete as well because they do have so many fakes, or what we call scrapper pins. Scrapper pins are pins that are, technically they are Disney pins. They are typically a Disney pin that was not meeting quality control. Because when Disney makes these pins, they put out thousands and thousands of them, and if there's a flaw, typically it gets put in a scrap pile. And that is where the scrappers come from, because what happens is whoever in the manufacturing plant will get a hold of them, and they will sell the ones that have issues or problems. I'm going to pause for a moment. I will show you what I mean. With this particular set, I originally started collecting them because I like the orange bird. I started collecting them while at Disney World, and I wasn't aware that there were so many scrappers. So I went through quite a bit of orange birds to find a full non-scrapped version. So this bag are orange birds that I received either through trading or through purchasing that were scrappers. So I'm going to show you the difference. I'm going to move these out of the way so I don't get them mixed up and have to re-look at them again to kind of show you why they're different. All right, here we go. So this is 2 pins together. Now this is just general information over this particular set and what I had to go through to get it. Be aware there are a lot more detailed videos on YouTube in regards to scrapper pins that'll help you determine if you have a real or fake pin, or what they call scrapper pin. So you can look at these two. You might be able to tell the lighting is a little off, but you might be able to tell a little bit of difference between them. For example, the one on the left, if you notice, let me try to move my hand, is a little more neon orange versus the one on the right. Also, if you notice, the one on the left, the Mickey head, is kind of smushed. It's a little bit fatter and rounder, whereas the one on the right is not. Also, some of the detail in this portion is kind of there where this one does not have it. And so a lot of people tend to gravitate. Now, when it came to the orange bird, this was difficult. A lot of people tend to gravitate to the brighter colored one, but that's not actually the orange bird color. This is the orange bird color. So this is actually the color it should be. And I'm also going to flip them over and show you what they look like on the back. All right, so looking at the backs of the pins gives you a little more detail into whether or not they are original or not. Now, they are a little more difficult because these are a little older. The older pins do not have the Mickey waffle pattern on the back. I'll show you real quickly. You can see in this particular pin, there's a Mickey waffle stamp on the back. And you can see the numbers, serial numbers, which is a kind of newer thing. This is a Disney pin. Yes, it came from last year. I got it in a booster set. But you can tell there's a few differences between the two. For starters, if you look at this one, it's hard to tell on the camera, but the pin trading emblem on this one and this one are different. This one is actually a little more smushed and you can't read it. Now on this phone and on my camera, you're not gonna be able to see it as well. Sorry it's so jerky. I'm not real sure. I think I'm moving the chair. But this one obviously is a little smushed. Another thing that you can notice as well is these little pin pops that are on the back. Those pin pops are typically on most pins that are of a larger size. It is to help to keep the pin back from moving around. And I'll show you real quickly that the one I was just showing you a second ago also includes those. Now don't get me wrong, not all pins will have that on the back, especially some of the older pins, and very small pins don't always have them either. But it's usually a telltale sign of a real versus a fake, because typically they are there. Let me pull out this real quick so you can see it. That's the emblem that we're looking for. I pulled out the scissors so I can point better because it's so small. So there's the two emblems, and this one's a little clearer. A lot of times the fakes will also have different lettering or wording and may actually not be as clear as the original as well. So there's a big difference between the two. So I'm going to flip them back over real quick. There we go. And so now we're looking at them again from the front. And like I said, the Mickey head on this one's a little more smushed than on this one. This one's a brighter orange than this one. This one has some details on it that this one does not. So doing your research is part of the key to making sure you get the right pin and not a fake pin. Those are usually the simple signs to look for, especially if it's something that you're trying to collect and you want the originals. Look it up online. Pinpicks.com typically will tell you, and you can go into the forums and get additional information on the particular pin, because it took me some research to realize that this orange was not the correct orange. This one is. So I'll show you real quickly. I've got a few other ones here that are paired that are from the same set. Again, you can see this one is a brighter orange than this one, much brighter than the original. And if I flip it over again, it's hard to see those symbols, right? So, but I can see them. But we're also looking here. There's something missing. It's the little pin pop that's on the back. And the same goes for the other one that I have as well. I have several that are dupes. But as you can see on this one again, not as orange, bright neon, smushed Mickey, not smushed. And I almost guarantee you when I flip it over, you'll see the pop here, not here. And the logo is a little more clear to read than this one. And you can't tell it on the camera probably, but this one is a lot more squished than this one. It's easier to read on this one. So there you go. That gives you an idea. I've got pins everywhere now. That gives you an idea of what you kind of look for. Oop, I dropped that one. It's okay. That one's the fake. It gives us the kind of an idea of what we look for when we're looking for original pins. You will run into that from time to time where you do see a faker pin here and there. Just like this one, I was concerned when I got it. But as you can see, it meets the criteria. Has the pin pop on the back. You can read the logo clear and loud. Although spelling is correct, that's another thing you can look for sometimes, is the spelling will be incorrect when you're looking at the backs of the pins. Disney may be spelled differently, Completer may be spelled differently, so you have to kind of look for that as well. So those are some of the things that we would look for when we're looking at pins and looking for what we call scrappers or fakes. They are everywhere. If you trade a lot at Disney, if you trade in the Disney parks, make sure that you're trading for something. If you really want it, go ahead and trade it. Just don't give away a good pin for it by any means. If you go to Epcot, for example, Epcot has the trader tables when you first walk in. Most of those traders are going to be reputable traders, but I always, when I've traded there, I look at the back of the pin and I make sure it's legit before I make the deal. When you trade with cast members, just make sure that, again, you are trading with safety and looking at your pin when you get it, because a lot of times those are going to be fakes just because, unless they just came on shift, because a lot of times people that have fakes will come into the park and trade for reels and use those reels. So there you have it. Also, another thing is, in some cases it's hard to tell. In this particular one, there is a flaw right there. That happens from time to time. This one is 100% real, but it has a flaw. A lot of times when you have them, the coloring will be different, or something will be different. So, like, for example, in some of them, the glasses may not be filled in. I think one of the birds I have has pupils, whereas the other ones do not. So it's just kind of another telltale sign that it's an error somewhere. So definitely, if you want to get into pin trading and you want to learn more about it, do your research on it. Fakes are not that big of a deal for most people. I have several fakes that I keep in my display case because I really just like the pin. I don't care that it's fake. Some people really are particular. When it came to this set, I was particular. I wanted an all 100% real set, so I went out of my way to get it. Alright, so through some creative editing, you never know that my phone died during that segment. I was trying to record and it just bloop, stopped recording. So hopefully through some creative editing, you did not realize that I dropped off the face of the Earth for a short period of time. Earth. It's basic. You come here for good times and good English, I promise. Oh well, let's move on.